I see more homes, more businesses that are going to the solar option. Just the best way to say it, solar's bad, solar's evil. This is...
If the worst case scenario happens, am I prepared for it?
Ryan is here from Wellspring Solar, and part of the reason that Ryan is here, some of you may have heard about some new solar panels going in Sturgis Township. Ryan is here to kind of explain how that process all came around and what the benefits are going to be for Sturgis Township long term. And thank you so much for coming up today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Sturgis Township Board was looking at some funds that they had from the federal government. Some ARPA funds from COVID that are use it or lose it money that they have to have earmarked by 2024 and decide how they're going to use it and then complete those projects. Now, they looked into what's the best use of this money, right? And they took some of the money and they have it earmarked for road repairs. And they looked at adding solar to the town hall, to their building that they're always going to be using. It's always going to be drawing electricity, and they're always paying the city of Sturgis for that electricity. So they wanted to look into solar and how that may help them in the future to save money so that they could take that money that's being saved and use it for other projects and other things to move that money in a different place instead of just spending it on electricity. During that process, they discovered that if you want to put it on solar panels are going to last 40 or 50 years. So you don't want to put them on a shingle roof that you're going to change 7 years from now.
Right.
So they decided to go ahead and get quotes for a metal roof and put standing seam metal on their building and then go ahead and put the solar panels on afterwards. So the standing seam metal allows you to place the solar panels with no penetrations. So the town hall, once that new roof is finished and the solar panels are on it, they won't touch that roof for 50 years. They may replace the solar panels in 40 or 50 years. They're probably not going to replace that standing seam metal for 100. And with those two improvements to the building, they should be able to save long term with their electricity and have electrical savings.
And part of that, too, as we were discussing before we went on the air, and you mentioned it too, Ryan, is that the savings that the township will have from that, they can now turn around and invest that into the township however they want to help out the residents, whether it's with really kind of any project that comes along.
Any project at all that comes along, instead of spending that money on electricity, they can spend it on whichever project they would like to go for. So that electrical saving, especially longer term, as the electrical costs rise over time, they've paid upfront for their electricity, and it's flatlined. It's flatlined over the next 40 or 50 years, where our electrical bills are going to keep going up with the cost of electricity and with inflation. They have secured long-term savings.
Terrific to hear that. I hope I'm not moving out of the area of your expertise, and if I am, please tell me and rein me back in. With a project such as this, obviously, as you said, they have to wait for the metal roof to go on. What kind of an installation process, timeline does it take then for those new panels to be put up for Sturgis Township, for them to be able to start turning that on and using it, so to speak?
So for our project, it's just 16 solar panels made in South Bend, Indiana, Crossroads Solar. Those 16 panels, that'll be a one-day process for us to come and install, hang the inverter. It'll take a little bit more time for the city of Sturgis to come out and switch out the meter, so they have a bidirectional meter. But as far as installation goes, it's 1 or 2 days in installation, and then waiting a little bit for the utility company to check all their boxes and to switch out the meter, and then we'll be able to turn the system on for them. So it'll be shortly after they get the new roof installed this fall.
Terrific to hear that. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Ryan Laneker from Wellspring Solar, I should say. How many other communities has Wellspring worked with, or townships or villages, that are taking these same steps as Sturgis Township to say, yes, this is how we want to go because it's going to be a savings to us, and then that money can be reinvested some way, shape, or form elsewhere?
So we've had hundreds of customers that have done this residentially for their homes. We have had several camps, Camp Friedenswald in Michigan, Camp Mack in Milford, Indiana, that have said, you know what, we want to pay for our electricity up front and have long-term savings with it, and also impact the environment. Right now, our next major install is going to be on the Studebaker Museum in South Bend, Indiana.
Beautiful place.
We have Paramount Schools of Excellence in South Bend that has also recently installed a system that used to be Tarkington Elementary that they bought from the city of South Bend. So there's a myriad of projects like that that have done the same thing. We've done Shankster Brothers in Kosciuszko County. It's a bio-waste treatment center right next to the city of Milford's wastewater, right? And I've talked to their leadership there of the town, and they would like to do a similar project as well, because wastewater treatment plants are a great place to be able to save money on electricity, because they just have that constant draw where they're constantly recycling water. So there's been a ton of projects with Wellspring that we've done for local businesses, small commercial, and farms. We have several farms in the Goshen area and in the Vandalia area where we have done farms, and we've done a lot of off-grid chicken barns as well.
Terrific to hear that. I would imagine, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, that to see a new type of technology, and really solar's not new, but we're seeing an increase in the number of businesses and residential homes in the last, I'm going to say probably 10 to 15 years, and I'm probably off by that are looking at and moving to solar in some way, shape, or form to help out their either business or home with their electrical needs. There's still the mindset out there by a lot of people that, just the best way to say it, solar's bad, solar's evil. This is just going to be a blight, so to speak, on our land and around the area. And that's not the case, is it? I mean, solar, from its early days to where we're at now in 2024, there's been so many upgrades and improvements made to how solar works. That's not the case, is it?
So with solar, the cost of the solar panels has come down, right? And the price of electricity has risen. The technology of solar has gotten better as well. So right now, with the federal tax credit, there's a 30% federal tax credit that homeowners, business owners, and even government and nonprofits, churches, schools, government entities like Sturgis Township can get a 30% federal tax credit on. So it goes against your taxable liability if you're for-profit or regular residential solar. And if you are a school or a nonprofit, it's a direct pay. It's 30% direct pay. So those factors have made solar more affordable, right? And made it make a whole lot more sense for having solar. The payback period is usually 8 to 10 years. If you have more expensive electricity, like if you have consumers electricity or NIPSCO electricity. And currently, if you have an REMC, you have a longer payback period. And so the advantages on the cost have really changed the game on what can solar do for people and how much it costs has tipped that balance where it does make financial sense, and it does have a longer payback period compared to some investments. But if you're in your forever home, you're planning on staying at your place for the next 40 or 50 years, having a solar panel that can produce electricity for you for the next 40 or 50 years is huge.
Terrific to hear that. And we should say too that, folks, if you're an organization such as Sturgis Township or city or business, and you would like some more information, obviously wellspringsolar.com is a place to go and check that out. You can talk to Ryan or any of the wonderful staff down there. They'd be more than happy to come up and chat with you about what the benefits of solar are for your business, your church, your school. It's always impressive to me as I drive around more, whether it's for work or just going to visit friends, and I see more homes, more businesses that are going to the solar option to help out with their costs. That, again, in my mind, because I'm not in the field as you are, Ryan, you see this and you see what people are saying and the benefits of this, that more people are opting to do this. And it's just wonderful to see other options out there available to people to have to use for generating their own electricity. And as we said, in the case of Sturgis Township, now taking that money they're saving and reinvesting that back in another way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it also gives the energy independence as well. So one aspect of the solar is you can save money on your bill. There's no question. Solar will save you money. The two questions are how much and how fast. But three, if you add batteries to it and create a hybrid system with it, it also gives you backup power and gives you energy independence. So if you lose electricity with the grid, if you lose electricity, you can have electricity as long as you have sun. And I'm seeing a lot more customers asking for that type of solar, so they have that energy independence. As the trust in the grid is deteriorating. More and more people are looking for that option of if the worst case scenario happens, am I prepared for it? And solar can give that assurance that I'll be able to run this amount of electricity as long as we have the sun. And if we lose the sun, we're not worried about electricity anymore.
Absolutely not. Well, and that leads to another question that I'm sure you get a lot, or that is asked a lot. Southern Michigan, northern Indiana, not really known as a year-round sunny climate like other places in the United States are. How much solar from the sun do we need for those panels to work? I mean, is it a percentage? Is it a full day? Again, as a novice, these are questions that I would like to I'm curious about.
Sure, absolutely. So when you look at northern Indiana, southern Michigan, we have lots of days where it's cloudy or it's foggy, and we just have a white haze all day long, right? And you don't even see the sun, right? Or you may see it at 3 p.m. for a half hour, right? So on those days, the solar panel system is going to produce 10 to 25% its normal output, right? And I have one customer in Goshen right now. He was telling me he was still impressed with his solar array and how much he was getting from his ground mount on that type of day. Now, he does have white ground tarp underneath his panels that are bifacial, and he's getting extra electricity on the backside. The panels are going to produce twice as much in the summertime as they do in the wintertime. So in December, January, and February, you aren't going to get much production. You're going to get half what you do in the summertime. In July, you think of July 4th when you're waiting for the fireworks. You wish it would get dark so they could start the fireworks. It's 10 p.m. and you're still waiting for the fireworks to go off, right? So you just have longer daylight hours in the summertime. And so in some southern climates and places like Colorado where you have 300 sunny days out of the year, yes, they get a lot more out of their solar panels. However, when I do a design, my software looks at the weather of your area, the local airport, takes the weather data and then shows you this is how much electricity these panels are going to produce. And so we can build the system to exactly how much electricity you need. And yes, you're going to need more solar panels here in Indiana than if I'm in the desert in Arizona. However, there's one big advantage here of Indiana and Michigan, and that's our cold winters and our colder spring and fall. The panels live at 102 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Right? So actually it's 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So a high fever that's going to send you and me to the emergency room so our brains don't cook is what the solar panels live at all the time. So right now, some of our systems that are ground mounts that have bifacial panels, getting these good sunny days, and it's 25 degrees outside, 30 degrees outside, they are maxing out what that solar panel can do. So hour for hour, minute for minute, my customers are getting their best production right now. Compared to July, when it's 90 degrees and 100% humidity, that panel can't dissipate the heat, so it doesn't operate as efficiently. So the solar panels actually love our winters, right, when the sun's out.
Yeah, exactly. Let's put that little caveat in there. And again, folks, if you are hearing about this for the first time and are interested in getting information on solar, again, for your school, your business, and we've seen a lot of schools in our area go to some solar assistance, wind assistance on a small basis. If you really want to find out more, get a hold of Ryan and the staff at Wellspring Solar. Go to wellspringsolar.com and look it all over, contact them, and then they'd be more than happy to come up and set up an appointment and chat with you about how solar can benefit your organization. I'm just blown away by what we've chatted about today, Ryan, and learning some more stuff about solar myself and understanding the process, and hope others will call and question and ask and see if they can take advantage of what Wellspring Solar has to offer them.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You bet. And we'll be back with more in just a moment right here on Super Hits 99.3 WBET as our Wednesday morning continues on.